Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back at today with another fantasy football video. In today's video, I'm going over the Week 11 wide receiver rankings. Now, before I get into rankings 1 through 32, I'd like to give you guys a word from my sponsor, OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite way to play DFS on all of the interwebs. Now, Overlay DFS has a couple of games you can play, but my favorite is the progressive game type. Now, there are entry points at a lot of different levels. As you can see here, there's a $2.5 game, a $22 game, and a $109 game. Now, in these games, the entry, when you win and become in that top 10%, you get 9 times your buy-in. $2.5 turns into $18. $22 turns into $180, and $109 turns into $900. But the specialty comes in here. It's that progressive bonus, and that is $1,038 for the $2.5 game. For the $22 game, it's over $7,000, and for the $109 game, it's over $2,600. And last week, I saw someone hit that beautiful 12-0 to claim that progressive bonus. Now, how it works is very much simple here. All you got to do is you see a bunch of matchups on your screen. You got to make 12 picks plus 3 alternate picks. So right here, Lamar Jackson versus Deshaun Watson. Who do you think will score more fantasy points? They're playing against each other in real life. So I would go with Lamar Jackson. Now, there is also something that I really like to do here that I think is a secret bit of strategy that seems to work a lot for me. So you scroll down here and you're going to pick a wide receiver to go with your quarterback. So if I wanted to go, if I really believed that it was Deshaun Watson, I would go Deshaun Watson and Mr. D on Dre Hopkins. But you could also go here and put another wide receiver with another quarterback. It is very much that easy, or match your quarterback with your tight end because you think they are both going to perform. So please make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. They have gotten rid of the way that you can only play just one entry. Now you can do up to 10 entries in these games. So make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. And we are back. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. Let's get right into this Week 11 wide receiver rankings. Now, the first page is 1 through 12. My number one ranked wideout this week is Michael Thomas going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We saw last week Drew Brees struggle, but you want to know who didn't struggle? Michael Thomas, because he gets fed the ball thrown his way so many times that it doesn't matter how good that the team plays, even against Atlanta when they played like shit and they should have beaten Atlanta. This game against Tampa Bay, it smells like a shoot out in Tampa Bay. The cannons are going to be firing and the touchdowns are going to be firing in this game. I think Michael Thomas goes and plays huge in this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And number 2, we have the other wide receiver on the other side of the ball, Mike Evans, going up against the New Orleans Saints. Now, last week, both Mike Evans and Chris Godwin did disappoint, but that was because Jameis always has one of those games every couple of games where he takes a shit straight in your lineup and kind of fucks you over and fucks the receivers over. But in this game, the matchup is so juicy that I really think that Mike Evans becomes the number 2 wide receiver in fantasy football this week. The New Orleans number 1 corner is likely not going to be playing in this game, so that means that Mike Evans and Chris Godwin have the opportunity to have a feast like their name is Ezekiel Elliott on Thanksgiving. At number 3, we have Tyreek the Freak Hill, the Cheetah, going up against the LA Chargers in Mexico City on Monday night. Now, Tyreek Hill is a certified speedster. Pat Mahomes loves throwing the ball to Tyreek Hill, and as long as Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill are on the same field, no matter if it's in the U.S. or in Mexico or in London, it doesn't fucking matter where the game is, because Tyreek Hill is going to go in there into Mexico and stick his hand straight up the ass of the LA Chargers, and not in a weird way. He is going to go in against the LA Chargers knock one time. If you're with me, I love Tyreek Hill this week. Now, the Mexico game last year got canceled. It was going to be the LA Rams versus the Kansas City Chiefs. We had that all-time game from last year. I think that this game is obviously going to be played in Mexico, but we don't know about how that will affect the players. But at the end of the day, I don't think it will take too much of a toll. And I think that Tyreek Hill will still be able to go in there and eviscerate the LA Superchargers. At number 4, we have Mr. JJ Julio Jones going up against the Carolina Panthers. Now, if we know anything about this Atlanta Falcons offense, it is the fact that it runs through one man and one man only. That is Julio Jones. Austin Hooper hurt. Calvin Ridley is all good. So it's just going to be the Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley show plus Brian Hill. Now, Brian Hill, I think, is also going to have a great game, but Julio Jones is going to be the number one target that is going to get fed throughout this game. A force feeding like you've never seen except for Drew Brees to Michael Thomas. I really like Julio Jones this game against the Carolina Panthers defense, and that is why he is ranked number 4. At number 5, we have DeAndre Hopkins, Mr. D-Hop, going against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, DeAndre Hopkins this season has been pretty up and down at the beginning of the season, but now recently he has been a bit more consistent. They had a bye last week. This week against the Baltimore Ravens, I predict a higher scoring matchup in Baltimore. We saw last week the Baltimore Ravens run a train on the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think that obviously the Baltimore Ravens are not going to be able to do that to the Tennessee Texans, the Houston Texans, not the Tennessee Texans, even though that sounds pretty cool. The Houston Texans and DeAndre Hopkins are going to put up a lot of points in this game, and I like D-Hop in this game. At number 6, we have Chris Godwin going up against the New Orleans Saints. Like I said for Mike Evans, I predict this is going to be a very, very, very high scoring matchup in New Orleans. I think that Chris Godwin and Mike Evans both get their share. Obviously, we've seen a lot of games where they both produce, but then we've seen a lot of games where Chris Godwin actually outperforms Mike Evans. I think that is entirely possible in this game, but I ranked Mike Evans higher strictly because, in my humble opinion, he's the number 1 wide receiver on that team, and he's the best wide receiver to start on that team. But that obviously doesn't mean shit because Chris Godwin is still a top 8 wide receiver on the week. At number 7, we have Mr. Amari Cooper going up against the Detroit Lions. Now, this season we've seen Amari Cooper unlike never before. Amari Cooper typically was a guy that would get you 30 points and then get you 2 points, and then get you 40 points and then get you 1 point, and then get you 3 points and then score 70 fucking points because he's just like that. But now it seems like he's been running a train on these defenses and putting up high scoring matchups every single week, week in and week out. So Amari Cooper, I really like this week against the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are likely without Matthew Stafford, and you know what that means? That means that Amari Cooper is going to be able to have the ball a lot in his hands, and Dak Prescott loves feeding him. We saw when they went to the run game, they were not as productive against the Vikings. When they stuck with the pass, they stuck with Dickey, Dak Prescott. Amari Cooper was able to eat, and the offense was able to score. So I like Amari Cooper this week against the Detroit Lions in Detroit. At number 8, we have Cooper Kupp going against the Chicago Bears. And I know last week he took a shit straight in your lineup. He needed those huggies because he went 0 receptions, 0 targets, and 0 fucking touchdowns and 0 yards, all that. It was not good. This week, I predict that Cooper Kupp gets a force feeding like no other. They're going to stick a tube down his mouth, and Jared Goff is going to feed the fucking football straight into there. He did nothing last week, and this week against the Chicago Bears, a tough defense. He's going to go in there in LA and give them an ass whooping like no other. Knock one time if you're with me. I love Cooper Kupp this week against the Chicago Bears for a humongous bounce back game. At number 9, we have Mr. Keenan Allen going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Keenan Allen has been so shit this year, if I'm being completely honest with you. He hasn't done anything. Last week, produced well. This week, he has a juicy fucking matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs in Mexico. I believe Keenan Allen is going to be able to perform very well in this game, and I like him this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. At number 10, we have Julian Edelman going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. And you know what happens when Tom Brady loses? They go on by, and he comes out firing on all cylinders. You want to know who you want to know who Tom Brady's favorite target is? It's Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman is going to get force-fed as well, like Cooper Kupp. He's going to get so many targets. He is Tom Brady's number 1 and favorite target. So I believe against the Philadelphia Eagles, he is going to try to get revenge against them for stealing the Super Bowl from Tom. Tom wants to, he could have fucking a million rings right now if they would have won that game. And I think that Julian Edelman gets force-fed, and that equivalates to fantasy football points. So I like him this week against the Eagles. At number 11, we have Mr. J.B., and we ain't talking Justin Bieber. We're talking John Brown at the Miami Dolphins. They're going to take a plane from cold as fuck to warm as fuck, and John Brown is going to be in that warm hole of the Miami Dolphins. John Brown is going to go in there and just eviscerate them. John Brown is Josh Allen's number 1 target. He is Josh Allen's favorite target, and I think that this game calls for a heavy usage of throwing the ball. They're going to throw all over the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to actually be able to score in this matchup unless they have Ryan Fitzpatrick's magic has fallen out. If that has not happened, I think this is going to be a type of a higher scoring type of matchup where John Brown and Josh Allen have to keep fighting back into the game. I think that John Brown is the number one wide receiver on that team, and I think he will produce in this game. Obviously, the only thing that stops him from being a guy that is inside of the top 10 is the fact that the other top 10 wide receivers are so fucking good. At number 12, we have Mr. A-Rob, A-Len Robinson going up against the LA Rams. Now, he may be getting shadowed by Jalen Ramsey, but I say fuck it. I'm still throwing Allen Robinson straight into my lineup, and you should too. You want to know why? Because Allen Robinson has been producing with the worst starting quarterback in the league, besides one of those guys that's like a second stringer, like Mason Rudolph, who just has to play. Kissing titties Trubisky isn't good at doing shit except for kissing those titties. He is terrible. But Allen Robinson figures out a way week in and week out to perform. And I see no reason why he cannot perform this week against the LA Rams. Now into 13 through 24. So if you guys have enjoyed thus far in the video, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. Number 13, we have DJ Moore going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, like I said, I predict that this game is going to be super high scoring. Actually, I may not have said that in this video, but I think that the Panthers are going to be able to skull fuck the Atlanta Falcons, and it is a bit of a high scoring matchup. Last week, we saw the Atlanta Falcons defense run a train on Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints, but I don't think that that is what's going to happen this week, and I think that DJ Moore is going to be able to produce. I think I'm talking pretty fast, going once, going twice. Sold DJ Moore at number 13. At number 14, we have Michael Gallup going against the Detroit Lions. And obviously, Amari Cooper's the number one wide receiver on the team, but I see it, and I saw it last week. I see it that Amari Cooper's the 1A, Michael Gallup is the 1B. Michael Gallup produces every single week, whether Amari Cooper's in, whether Amari Cooper's out. Michael Gallup is going to be able to get the opportunity to eat. And like I said, for Amari Cooper, this matchup in Detroit with likely Jeff Driscoll starting as the quarterback for the Detroit Lions, I think that this is going to be a game where Dak has the ball a lot, and Dak has the opportunity to spread the ball out, diversify the portfolio, and throw the ball to every receiver, and Michael Gallup will get his. At number 15, we have Mr. SD, Stephon Diggs, not standard definition, going up against the Denver Broncos. Now, he's been looking a bit standard definition, not about HD in some of these games. He is very hit or miss. We saw a stretch of games where he was absolutely eviscerating defenses without Eddie Loop, and then we've seen the last couple of games where he's been playing like absolute shit. This week is a get-right game for Kirk Cousins and the Denver Broncos. Obviously, there's not much of getting right for, I shouldn't say Kirk Cousins and the Denver Broncos, Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. He doesn't really need to get right because he went into Dallas and whooped their ass, but this is a get-right game for Stephon Diggs. He hasn't been playing great. Now he gets a soft, a bitch tier defense in the Denver Broncos. I think that Stephon Diggs is able to go in there and perform, and that is why he's got that 15 ranking, but he is a bit risky. At number 16, we have Baby Chark, Baby Chark, going up against the Indianapolis Colts. DJ Chark finally gets Nick Foles back. Obviously, Gardner Minshew liked to force feed DJ Chark like it was nothing, but Gardner Minshew just wasn't performing the last couple of games. Now, Big Dick Nick steps up, and I think that he is going to feed DJ Chark as well. He knows who the better wide receiver is, and it is DJ Chark, but I still think that Mr. D.D. Westbrook gets a lot of targets in this game. At number 17, we have Mr. KG, Kenny Golladay, going up against the Dallas Cowboys, taking the L last week to the Minnesota Vikings. I think that Kenny Golladay can still perform with Jeff Driscoll. We saw it last week. He didn't really produce all game, and then at the end, he scored that touchdown and looked good. Jeff Driscoll isn't the worst quarterback, so I still think that when they have the ball, Kenny Golladay can produce, and those younger quarterbacks like to throw the ball to their best wide receiver. And guess who the best wide receiver on the Detroit Lions is? It is Kenny Golladay, and that's why he's ranked at number 17. He's obviously hampered by the fact that Jeff Driscoll is his quarterback. At number 18, we have Courtland Sutton going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Brandon Allen is not the best quarterback, but I still believe in Courtland Sutton because those younger quarterbacks, like I said, they like to feed their number one guy, and I don't see any reason why Courtland Sutton wouldn't be able to produce against the Minnesota Vikings, and that's why he's ranked number 18. At number 19, we have Curtis Samuel going up against the Atlanta Falcons, and like I said, I believe this is going to be a high-scoring matchup, and I believe that the Carolina Panthers are going to be able to get in there, get under the Atlanta Falcons' skin, and score on all cylinders. Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuels, Kyle Allen, Greg Olsen, the whole goddamn squad is a good start this week in fantasy football. I like Curtis Samuel. That's why he's ranked number 19. Obviously, ranked lower than DJ Moore because, in my opinion, Kyle Allen likes to target DJ Moore more times. I think that obviously that hurts Curtis Samuel, but Curtis Samuel's still going to be able to produce. And number 20, Mr. ES, Emmanuel Sanders, going up against the Arizona Cardinals. We saw this matchup 2 weeks ago where the Arizona Cardinals almost beat the 49ers. But I think the 49ers, after losing to the Seahawks, obviously it's a short week. They played on Monday, now on Sunday. I think they're going to go in there and still play well against the Arizona Cardinals. But obviously, Emmanuel Sanders is ranked at 20. We don't know how healthy he is. Will he play? Will he not play? If he plays, then his ranking at 20 seems good. I'm not sure if he'll be 100%, so that's why he's slotted in at number 20. And number 21, we have Mr. Scary F1 Terry McLaurin going against the New York Football Jets. And Dwayne Hashcans, the trash can, is the quarterback on the team. If it was Case Keenum, I would feel ultra, super duper excited to start Terry McLaurin. But that's just not how shit goes. They go on by and they put in the young quarterback in fucking Dwayne Haskins, and I am worried about that. They played in college together, so they should be able to figure it out on the bye week. But I think Terry McLaurin still puts it together, but he definitely has a lot of risk being that Dwayne Haskins is so bad. At number 22, we have Mr. Hollywood Brown going up against the Houston Texans. Now, if Marquise Brown, right now, as I'm recording this, I don't know if he's going to play. But on Friday, if they say he's going to play, then you go ahead and lock and load him in your lineup because Lamar Jackson is just so good that he spreads the ball out to a lot of people, but he knows who the best wide receiver on that team is, and that is Mr. Hollywood Brown, or maybe it's Mark Andrews. But either way, Hollywood Brown is going to get fed the ball in this game. He's a deep down the field threat. We see that Lamar Jackson does have the arm strength and the arm accuracy to fit it down there to Hollywood Brown. At number 23, we have Christian Kirk going against the San Francisco 49ers. 2 weeks ago, we saw Christian Kirk ball out of control against the San Francisco 49ers. This week, I think it may be a bit different. I think that San Francisco defense is going to be able to look a lot better after they have the tape and saw what they did wrong last time against the Arizona Cardinals. But obviously, they're on that shorter slate, so their defense may be a bit tired, a bit banged up. But at the end of the day, I think the defense is so good that Christian Kirk's upside is limited, and that's why he's ranked at number 23. At number 24, we have my main man, Tyrell Williams, T. Willie, going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Tyrell Williams has not really been performing in the last couple of weeks, but this week, he is the juiciest matchup of them all, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals team is trying to lose. The Cincinnati Bengals team is fucking garbage, and Tyrell Williams is going to be able to go in at home in Oakland and fuck up the Cincinnati Bengals. But the fact is, Derek Carr has not been necessarily targeting him so much. He's been spreading the ball out to a lot of receivers. They're mainly been trying to run the ball with Mr. Josh Jacobs, and Derek Carr is dumping it off to him a lot. So that hurts Tyrell Williams, but the matchup is so juicy that he has to be ranked inside the top 24. And like I said, guys, if you have not subscribed already, if you made it this far, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. Number 25, we have RW, Robert Woods, going against the Chicago Bears. Now, Robert Woods, I think that the problem with Robert Woods this week is that they're just going to fucking feed Cooper Kupp. Brandon Cooks is out, so you would think Robert Woods would be able to perform, but I think the fact is they're going to feed Cooper Kupp the ball. I think Robert Woods is around 8 to 12 points, but that obviously doesn't warrant him being a top 24 guy. At number 26, we have famous Jamison Crowder going against the Washington Redskins. And if I've noticed anything about Sam Darnold, is that he has a love affair for Jamison Crowder. I'm surprised Jamison Crowder doesn't have mono. I say this in every single fucking video because he has probably a love affair for Jamison Crowder because he just fucking throws the ball to him a million times. Jamison Crowder is the safest wide receiver. He may not be safe from getting mono, but he's definitely safe from being taking a shit in your lineup, from being the guy that takes a shit in your lineup. Jamison Crowder is going to produce against this terrible Washington Redskins defense. At number 24, we have Calvin Ridley going up against the Carolina Panthers, and I just don't have a lot of confidence in Calvin Ridley. I think he could perform given the fact that Mr. Austin Hoopa is hurt. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure that Calvin Ridley will be the one getting force-fed. It's probably just going to be Julio Jones in Carolina. At number 28, we have Mr. Tyler, Boyd, going up against the Oakland Raiders. And Tyler Boyd, what can I say? He's a good receiver. AJ Green's probably not going to play. Likely out. All right, AJ Green will never fucking touch the field this season at this point. Tyler Boyd is a good receiver, but their quarterback, whose name is Ryan Finley, is not very good. If Andy Dalton was in this game, I think this would be a higher scoring matchup where Andy Dalton produces and Tyler Boyd produces. But that's not what's going to be happening. It is going to be Ryan Finley, so Tyler Boyd is hurt by that and is ranked at number 28. At number 29, we have Mr. Devontae Parker going up against the Buffalo Bills. Now, Devontae Parker has been pretty dominant in the last couple of games. Mr. Ryan Fitzmagic has been targeting him heavily, so I like Devontae Parker for that, but the fact is that he's playing up against the Buffalo Bills defense. So the Buffalo Bills defense is pretty good. At number 30, we also have Devontae Parker yet again going up against the Buffalo Bills. So obviously, you're going to go ahead and start him at 29 and 30, but that's fine because since he's ranked twice, I'll just give you another wide receiver to be ranked at number 32. So at number 30, technically, what should be is Debo Samuels going up against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, if Emmanuel Sanders does not get the go ahead to play, I would be a lot more confident in starting Debo Samuels. Now, to me, Debo Samuels might actually be pretty safe this week for the reason of the fact that I think that Debo Samuels is going to eat in this game against the Arizona Cardinals. He's been producing the last couple of weeks pretty well. It seems like Jimmy Garoppolo really does like targeting him deep down the field and in the end zone. So I like him when push comes to shove. At number 30, what is this 31 or not number 31, which is number 32 on your screen. We got Marvin Jones going up against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I don't necessarily like this matchup because of Jeff Driscoll being the quarterback, but at the end of the day, I believe he targets Marvin Jones so much that it will be worth it for him to be number 32, but he's obviously hurt by that. Or number 31. And number 32, not on your screen right now, is Mohamed Sanu going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I don't necessarily trust him because like I said in my start sit video, I can't trust anyone on New England besides Mr. James White and Julian Edelman and Tom Brady. I just can't do it. But at the end of the day, Mohamed Sanu needs to be ranked in this, so he is ranked number 32. I believe he may be able to put up a high scoring game, but like I said in the videos before and in the live stream from yesterday, if you guys missed that, make sure to check out the live stream on Sunday. But Tom Brady likes to force feed the new guy in town. Mohamed Sanu was the new guy in town, but I think he will keep Mohamed Sanu involved enough to warrant him being top 32. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you enjoyed, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. I love each and every single one of you guys. Make sure to have a wonderful day. Goodbye, my friends.